Hey everyone. Tonight we're here to talk about Virtual Dinner 2.0 with Roasthouse Pub. And this one featured 4 beers from Cushwa Brewing Company. And we're joined by Leo Mahenko from Cushwa. He is the Director of Operations. Operations
Smooth
Director.
Operations Manager.
Smooth. So you have a made-up last name and a made-up title.
And a made-up job title.
Is there anything about you that's real?
No, it's all fictional.
So hopefully, if you're watching this, you participated in the beer dinner because it was phenomenal. We have a question already from Timothy Davis. I'm going to field that question for you and say no, you don't. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you do not distribute to Tennessee.
Yeah, currently do not distribute to Tennessee.
All right. I'm also going to get it out of the way that I'm drinking out of a Cushwa goblet like a schmuck because you guys refuse to make those tikus again. So that's your fault, Leo.
We have a bunch of cool glassware coming out once we're open and kind of can have people come in and actually see it and everything. It's kind of been put on hold with everything right now, but we do have some new glassware coming out.
Okay, well, it's very important to me.
Yeah. As you can see, not that important to me.
And then another thing I'll just get out of the way real quick is I was giving Niko a hard time earlier today because one of the courses of the beer dinner was a pierogi. Having grown up in Pittsburgh and having Polish heritage, I consider myself somewhat of an expert of pierogies. And I told him I would let him know if he was allowed to call them pierogies. And I think he officially is allowed to. They were absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Well, that actually is an honor, Chris. Thank you.
All right. So the first, actually, Leo, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? Because I'm going to venture a guess. A lot of people probably don't know who you are, what you do at Cushwa. So tell us a little bit about yourself first.
All right, everybody. Leo, nice to meet you all. Smooth Operations Manager, which, as Chris said earlier, is a little bit of a made-up title. And at times, it may feel like that, just doing a mix of everything. So have my hand in distribution, started out cleaning kegs, helping out with production, still occasionally throw my hand in there. Our newest project has been, as you can see with all the cans we're cranking out right now, setting up, helping out with canning as much as possible. I became best friends with a labeler recently over the last couple months. Beats me up a good bit, but slowly getting better at that whole process. I work tap room.
So be very careful with your labeler. There's a brewery that I go to regularly that ended up sending theirs back and getting a different one because apparently a piece of equipment that is definitely going to get wet constantly aren't waterproof. So hopefully you guys bought a waterproof one.
If not, I'll be crying to Scott midday tomorrow on our next canning run.
Sorry to interrupt.
So pretty much try to get my hands in as much stuff as possible, do anything to take the stress off of Garrett, Scott, Marcus, anything that I think I can help out, maybe make it a little bit more seamless, or if I think it's something I can pick up and run with. And then also I've been kind of handling outside events. So a little bit of a role as like a brand ambassador within the last year. Have done Tampa, went to Badass Beer Festival with Scott, represented for that. Shortly after that, we were in Williamsburg for Precarious's event. Done Snallygaster in DC, which is one of my favorite local festivals. I love going out there, love the city, love the venue. It's so beautiful, and they get like a world-class list of beers there. Can't give NRG any more props for what they're able to do with that festival. And then just in February, maybe beginning of March, I was out at Beer Zombies Festival in Las Vegas, out pouring beer for us there. So if you see an outside festival, usually not necessarily local ones, but anything that would involve like traveling to, I try to get my hand in those. Free travel, fun parties, get to meet a whole bunch of awesome people. Been a great rewarding experience to be able to get out and do that stuff.
So apparently your seltzers are popular, and both Ted Weber and Derek Weber seem to be fans. I want to know when you have more coming out.
Fun news, seltzer released tomorrow. Peach Seltzer, second version of Cushwa. We're able to like fine tune from the last one. Just tried a sample a little bit ago, probably a couple hours ago before Brady rolled out. Carbs a little bit higher, so you get more of that like seltzer water taste from it. It tastes smooth, crisp, perfect for what the weather's going to be tomorrow, like 90 plus degrees. So I'm excited for it. And this is kind of something that I jokingly just trolled Garrett about for months and months and months. Told him me and Brad Mass, he's a brewer lab tech at Heist in Charlotte, North Carolina, met him at Precarious, and we joked about starting a seltzeria. And I said I was leaving Cushwa to start a seltzery somewhere down south where the weather was hot. And he decided to, I guess it was his way of keeping me around by brewing a seltzer.
And Niko, looks like there's just like the last Q&A we did, there are people calling for you to have your own cooking show.
I'm down. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
So it looks like maybe we should do a video of you teaching how to make the pierogies from start to finish.
I would love to. Sounds like a lot of fun.
So actually, about the pierogies, how did you decide on what you were going to put in those? Because that definitely wasn't a stereotype. Yeah, traditional. That's probably a better term to go with.
Well, you've come to know me by now, Chris, and many people that attend our beer dinners. I definitely like to take things outside the box. And again, it's all about infusing maybe different cultural flavors. So that was kind of the premise behind that. I'm kind of looking out in my backyard. We do have some organic gardens out back, so I was able to utilize some fresh mustard greens. So that was also part of the thought as well.
And Bob is correct. The lamb chop was, I think that's probably one of the best things I've ever had that you made. Although I'm going to take credit for it. I put it into the oven. So I definitely did a really good job of heating the oven up and placing it in there at the proper temperature and the perfect amount of time.
Nice. And actually, you bring a good point. You know, the one thing that I found that's really cool about this experience, I think we could all agree, is it allows people to get their hands on the actual food and take part in the preparation, and kind of like being a sous chef, if you will. Of course, Chris, I know your wife had joked with you that you're not cooking her the food, you're preparing it. But
she refuses to give me any credit for the 4-course meal that I made her tonight. And I don't think it's fair.
I think you've got an argument there. But the interaction, I think that's a really fun part of this that's kind of come out.
Thank you, Paul. That means a lot. That was more than what my wife told me.
That's funny.
So it also looks like making a video of just how to make the lamb chops would be. I clicked on the wrong thing. The lamb chops people would enjoy. But so actually, you have done somewhat of a cooking class, sort of, with Frederick High.
Through the Links program. I was invited in, coming from a local small business. It's the Links program, actually, ladies and gentlemen, is an awesome organization. It's a perfect accompaniment to our local high schools, the young men and women. It's a great concept. So they'll bring in different types of small businesses in to work and sit in on presentation and teaching as far as the classroom itself, the classroom experience. And it definitely helps bring a new, fresh perspective. So Frederick High School has a new kitchen. It's absolutely amazing. I'm blown away by it, a little jealous, I'm not going to lie. But what it does is allows small businesses to come in from the outside. Of course, with the culinary program there, I was invited to come and work on, for example, we did sort of a chopped theme where we broke the students down into teams and gave them a basket. Of course, they had had some time to work on how they wanted to utilize their ingredients, and then ultimately at the end, we were able to pick a winner. So that was a lot of fun.
And full disclosure, my wife is one of the advocates that help run that program.
Yes.
Even though she refuses to give me credit for my culinary skills. So, Niko, Ted wants to know what you would pair. What's the best to pair with the lamb chop? So you paired it with Unintended Consequences, which was a really, really good Imperial NEPA. Is there any other style beer that you would think was a better pairing, or was that like your ideal pairing to go with?
I tend to lean towards again the tandoori with all the lots of spices. There's probably 12 different spices. You're going to lose out on the beer. The beer will be overwhelmed by those spices if your beer isn't able to stand up. So typically that's sort of the theme I take when you're dealing with a lot of spices in one dish. There's a lot going on. They tend to pair well together again with those either IPAs or double IPAs. Now, if the lamb was just, let's say, grilled, salt, pepper, butter, maybe a little pesto, then that becomes a bit more what I'd consider beer friendly. But tandoori, it's got a lot going on, so I definitely stuck with a double IPA in that one.
And Bob has a good point. So I've ordered food from Blue Apron before, and I stopped because half the time it went bad before I could cook it, which was typically just a day or two. But they never sent me the water that was already measured out for what I needed to use. So you definitely are better than Blue Apron.
Yeah, you simplified it good.
Yeah, I again, it's all about portioning, and I could see some people after that first tall can of beer maybe adding too much water or maybe not enough, and there's nothing worse than sticky rice. So.
Which Cushwa beer is closest to Busch Light? Well, that's easy. It's the People's Champagne. Maybe not.
Maybe a Cushwa Light or Cream Ale. It's the most like non-offensive, low-tasting beer. It's set to be a Jenny Cream Ale replicant. So I would maybe lean in that direction for that type of drinker.
Niko, was it actually I think I knew was the lamb a dry rub or a marinade?
It was a marinade, and the secret component to tandoori is definitely yogurt. And you're going to want your protein to sit in that marinade for at least 20 hours.
That's just a short time.
Yes, it's short. Well, we've got all the time in the world right now. So.
So you said it was spring water. Did you drive up to Gambrel Mountain and fill up from that spring, or do you have?
It was Fiji water.
Okay. I told Beth I was positive you just turned on the tap and. Is there any truth to that, Leo?
Possibly.
There's so many comments. I'm losing track of them. So what is tandoori? Where's that from?
Tandoori would be an Indian spice profile. Typically, it's done in clay pots. So you've got tandoori chicken, for example. That's probably the most popular in terms of maybe people's understanding of tandoori. But typically, it's done in clay pots or clay ovens, if you will. So again, just kind of a play off of changing the protein up, and instead of cooking it in clay pot, it was done on. I saw that comment.
I don't know why I clicked on that for Bob.
I think these 16-ounce pounders are
a bad idea.
Well, not necessarily.
I mean, I guess it depends on what angle you're looking at it. It may be a good idea. See, Beth and I split ours through the night because I knew I had to be at least partially coherent for this.
Yeah, we didn't do any favors either. I think there were 2 double IPAs in that mix, so we definitely didn't pull any punches there.
Oh no, they weren't light ones.
No, although quite delicious. I will say the beer was absolutely delicious.
Leo, do you want to talk about the new location a little bit?
Yeah, can go ahead and do that. Which currently I'm setting in. I'll maybe show a little bit of a sneak preview here. Here's a back wall if I can get the camera in a good spot, and hopefully nobody drank too much during out the dinner to where that's an issue and it's all topsy-turvy. So yeah, we went from 3.5 barrel production to 15 barrel, 230s, 415s, 27s, 2 brights, 30 and a 15. We got the canning line, and then tap room. I want to say as far as actual size, maybe double max occupancy, if not more. And then we have the rad pies. They're slowly moving kind of quick now. Working on R&D. Hopefully they're up and running soon. Everything I've had so far tastes amazing. Can't wait to have everybody in here to see kind of how everything's shaped out. It looks awesome. Goodlow did an amazing mural work in here. So that would be cool for everybody to come in and check out. It's something we're super proud of. We've dumped a lot of hard work into this, and we can't wait for you all to come out and see it.
Yeah.
Will I have Jenga? Timothy, if you come here, I will have a Jenga set for you.
I think that's probably a question for Niko. I don't. Is Dawn dish detergent good for cleaning Firebird windows? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, Dawn dish detergent is good for anything.
So actually, this is a good. So, I don't know if you can trust someone who doesn't like an IPA, but we'll let it slide, Joseph. But I was going to say a similar thing. I don't like Hefeweizens, but the Never Say Hefeweizen was really, really good, and I think it's because it doesn't have. It's mainly just the banana characteristics of a Hefeweizen. It doesn't have all the other.
Yeah, more estery,
yeah.
Ester yeah. So, fun thing, that's a Scott OG Pilot batch recipe. And then as we're over here, I think we can experiment a little bit more, have a little bit more beer around and everything like that. Kind of threw it on the production schedule. Garrett did his, genius stroke, whatever he does, altered the recipe a little bit and ended up turning out good and surprisingly became a quick seller for us. It was a beer we said we would never do just because. And now it's led into a joke of doing a Never Say series, which we actually talked about a little bit ago today. So let's see what the next one could potentially be.
You gonna give us a hint?
I think it's generally they pick styles that I hate the most. They kind of think like, what does Leo dislike drinking? So like, I'm with you. I'm not a big Hefeweizen fan. The next joke was a Rausch beer. So I'm crossing my fingers that doesn't happen because I don't want to be on the canning line that day.
Yeah, I don't like Rausch beers either.
Yeah.
The tap room is not open yet because that would be against the law, and Cushwa follows the law.
Yes.
But they do have outdoor seating currently.
Yes, we have a small outdoor patio we were able to set up with a good bit of help to some local businesses. Lighters here in Williamsport helped us out and provided us with tables. We were able to get a tent from a local place here, and they helped us out tremendously, gave us like a nice deal. So community support has been awesome, and Bowman allowed us to just throw something out there. It's not our permanent outdoor seating. Just let everybody know this. It's not the most glamorous, but we're just happy people can come outside, sit there, have a beer, and you get a beautiful 81 backdrop. So come out and have a beer, guys.
And yes, it was a beer dinner without fish. And that was also the first comment my wife made when I read her the menu.
There is a greater chance that might happen when we're down to 4 courses instead of 5.
I think there are a lot of misguided people who like that. Do you have new merch to show off, Leo? You want to give people a sneak peek?
I can show off a glass for you, Chris, since earlier you talked about glassware to start the show off.
Oh, you mean because I'm drinking out of this goblet like a chump? Because I like a damn animal?
So give me a second to run, and
Right.
I will bring your glass back.
So there was another comment here that was about the food that I wanted to bring up to you, Niko. It's about the frizzled beets on top of the pierogies. It's those small little touches that I absolutely love about your meals. Like, and obviously, you're a professional chef and you're very good at it. I'm someone that's barely able to grunt out whether something's good or bad. So I would never think of doing something like that. How do you come up with those types of like little additions to put into a meal?
Well, as Kevin just mentioned, the traditional Polish beet relish. I mean, that's essentially a national condiment in Poland that's served with many dishes. So again, I like to take things a little outside the box and just put a little spin on beets. I mean, when I think Polish food, I definitely think beets. That's absolutely for sure. Root vegetables is a big deal in Poland. That's for sure.
And yes, the seasoning on the chops was amazing.
Thank you.
All right, Leo, let's see that glass.
All right. Marcus isn't in here and isn't upset with me giving a little bit of a spoiler sneak peek preview.
He'll never know.
But here is a wrapped glass we did. First time we've ventured into a wrapped glass. We have the CBCO right there. We have the board in Maryland. Kind of something a little out of the wheelhouse, a little more flashier than what we've done.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
turned
nice.
out really good. We joked and said it had some like Gucci vibes to it, so we're happy with how it turned out.
That would be a great beer to release whenever those come out. Just although Gucci might have a problem with that, but name a beer Gucci vibe.
Yeah. Garrett would be like, typical thing, you want to name something and dismiss it, but I'll pitch it.
But like I said, though it's a one-off. Who cares? Plenty of people get cease and desists.
Yeah.
It was also. So is that the only glass, or do you have other ones coming out too?
We did a small limited release of a Tiku. I don't know if anybody.
Yeah, I know it sold out really quickly, and I wasn't able to get one.
Chris, I promise you, we have more of those. I set one aside for you, actually.
I was up in. Sadly enough, and this shows the problem I have. I was in Pennsylvania at Fourscore to purchase one of their Tikus. I mean, obviously to get beer too, but,
yeah.
But I was up there, and by the time I got back to Maryland, they had already sold out.
We do have more, so
okay.
Yeah.
There was another comment for. Do you have any future collabs with RAR coming up?
Obviously, those guys are friends and everything. COVID culture has kind of put collabs on hold, and we've so far steered away from like virtual collabs. We just like the spirit of having people here or coming out to see them. Towards the end of our days over in our other spot, we kind of realized like there's not a point in bringing people out for such a small batch, and we had met such a great network of breweries that we respect, love, enjoy their products, that we wanted to give them full-fledged, like let them be able to have something out in cans and give every fan of our brewery and their brewery something that they want. So once all this stuff blows over, they're going to be towards the tops of our list. We like those guys a lot. So
there you have two name suggestions: Gucci Kush or Coochie.
The second one might not apply.
I think it's fine. The spelling works.
Just don't think too far into it. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all about the spelling, man.
Niko, do you plan on doing any thin smash burgers as opposed to the half-pound patties?
I would probably consider doing those on the food truck. I'd like to have a flat top grill to do those. But yes, definitely consider doing those in the food truck.
And yes, Paul, it is a fine line.
Yeah, I thought I'd go this whole time without any PG-13 content. So once again, hope the guys aren't watching.
You know, when you do a live stream with a bunch of people who are drinking, when you're inviting comments and questions, the likelihood of avoiding that is pretty slim to next to impossible.
I'd say so.
Well, it's funny, almost I would say 60% of episodes of Uncapped start with the brewer or the brewery owner asking me if it's okay to swear. And I've only been told to F off once or twice during recording.
My lovely girlfriend who works at the roastery that provided the coffee for Indian Winter, she gave me one suggestion before the start of this, and she was like, no F words. She was like, you'll do fine as long as you don't say any F words. So.
Yeah, Big Kush will do that to you. So actually, let's talk about two future things. One, Leo, you said there are a couple of beers that Kush was releasing this week. actually, that you wanted to talk about a little bit. So let's talk about that. And Bob, I'm not showing that. Why not? All right. All right, go ahead, Leo.
Okay, so coincidentally, just cracked this Glint, which is a ta-da, as you saw at the beer dinner. We love double IPAs and seem to only brew them. Beer from our anniversary uses Galaxy, Motueka, and Nelson. Tastes amazing. Really excited for this one to come out. We also are releasing tomorrow Thrill of Confusion, which is Sabro forward triple IPA, which we brewed towards the end of our tail run over in the last spot. Ended up being wildly popular. People seem to love it. One of our better rated beers at this point. Couldn't wait to get it out in the cans for everybody to be able to try. So only second time we've ever done a triple. Excited to have that out. And then, as I said earlier, the Cushwa Peach Seltzer, which definitely can't wait to be drinking that. That'll probably be my go-to beer this weekend once I'm off work.
Oh, I had my mic muted. That would probably help if I took that off before I start talking. Niko, Kevin had a comment about your chimichurri chicken cheesesteak, which did you just end up making that because it's fun to say? Or what?
Well, I saw all this activity on Frederick County Takeout about
RIP.
Yeah, and so I just thought, I just wanted to throw in on the cheesesteak ring, and that's kind of what my idea was.
There was an earlier I can't remember if I've seen or not. Is Cushwa doing the Black is Beautiful beer with
Weathered Souls?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I think
that was also an earlier comment I know that Timothy Davis made that I could not find. And while you're talking about that, I'll actually look for it.
Yeah, so I think we put that on our Instagram feed yesterday, maybe, or the day before. I can't really remember. Met one of the guys from Weathered Souls out in Vegas briefly, but super good. They were turning out amazing stouts, and it's something to perfectly demonstrate what the time needs right now, and for our industry where it's kind of looked at where maybe there isn't equal representation, for us to kind of like gather together and show that we're in support for that.
So when will you be brewing that?
I haven't checked the schedule. I'm sure we'll rearrange a couple of things to be able to get that on pretty quickly. So I would think month and a half to 2 month.
Okay. Will that be in your full distribution footprint? Is it a full batch?
Yeah, I would assume it would be a full batch, probably a 15 barrel or something.
What is your distribution footprint at this point? I should remember because I literally talked to Marcus about this when we recorded an episode only a few weeks ago. But I've had too much Cushwa beer tonight.
So right now I think we cover just about all of Maryland at this point. I'm sure somebody will comment and say maybe we miss a certain location, maybe not here, but they'll catch wind of me saying this. But through Craft Coalition, we hit majority of Maryland. Then with other side, we're hitting east of the Bay Bridge and into Delaware. And then Liquid Distro handles Northern Virginia for us. Right now, Northern Virginia is only 1 to 2 accounts on general, but we're slowly trying to get more beer out to everybody, popping up in more and more beer stores. I think this week it was to 60 different accounts just through Craft Coalition. So everybody just keep eyes on Instagram, Facebook, see where it's going. And if you ever have any questions, if you can find it, just forward it to us. Ask anybody, you'll be able to find it. We're trying to cover Maryland as well as possible right now.
And ultimately, the only things that matter are that you're available in Frederick at both District East and at Roasthouse Pub.
Yes, those are two most important things.
Do you guys have any plans to make hard ciders? Because actually, you're allowed to now, right? I think that was a new change in Maryland law, right? That breweries can start making cider.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I think you would probably have more knowledge on that for me.
Never accuse me of having knowledge.
Not something that we've kicked around yet. I would say what we cater towards, like the cider market, I know it's not the same thing, but hard seltzers and fruited kettle sours, which also another beer coming out. This won't be till next week, but we have another electro fruit coming out, our fruited kettle series sour, blackberry key lime, which we're really excited about. So yeah, nothing quite in the seltzer pipeline. We did do a Belgian triple with cider, Graf style beer, collab with Laughing Monk a few months ago out of San Francisco, which turned out really well. So that's the closest we've dipped into it. I don't know how much further we'll dip back into that, but.
Hey, Niko, how did you make the pierogi dough? Because it was not super toothy, chewy. It was a perfect texture. Try to be as detailed and take as long as you can, because I'm going to go grab another beer.
Well, with the pierogi dough, first of all, a shout out to a real good friend of ours who was grateful enough to share his great grandmother's recipe. She was from Poland. The secret to this recipe is a really good cultured sour cream that is definitely key to this recipe. And then actually being very patient as you slowly mix in the flour towards the end. And then what you'll want to do, again with patience, is as you begin to fold it over upon itself during the last step of working the dough. Again, not being too forceful with the dough, but quite gentle. So that's really the trick behind this particular recipe, is a really good cultured sour cream, along with, again, patience with working the dough. And that's it.
Told you to take longer.
Sorry, that was quick though.
See. So you've slowly grown the attendance between the last two, right? Like as you prove the concept.
Yes. So the first one with Fourscore, Ben and his good fix up there. Our goal was 24 tickets, and we actually hit that goal right on the money. This time around, our goal was 30 tickets, and we hit that one actually right on the money. Now, where this goes, depending, but my initial thought is once we are able to reopen, of course, there'll probably be limitations or reduction to our seating. So the nice thing is we could still actually be able to do a hybrid where we would have folks join us at the pub, which we really can't wait to have you guys back. And then, of course, for those that weren't able to get in, as far as having a seat in the restaurant, we could still do this virtually. So that's kind of the way I'm seeing this pan out.
And Leo, do you guys have any plans to go to West Virginia anytime?
Currently, we do not. I think it's just kind of the way the craft distribution market is set up through there.
It's a hard state, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's something about sending beer. It goes statewide and then gets sent out. I'm not too sure. Market isn't fully there for something our size. I would love to. It's where I'm from. maybe one day as our size scales and it becomes a little easier and there's a little bit more of a market, would love to get it out there to that place, but currently not in the pipelines.
I've never heard of Martin House Brewing.
Unfamiliar with them.
I have not either.
I'm assuming you do not have plans of expanding to Texas, at least not in your 5-year plan.
I would love to be in Texas at some point in my 5-year plan. Maybe a collab somewhere in Texas. Hopefully after all this blows over, there could be something working, but currently nothing planned for Texas.
And actually, Troy was a regular of ours. He actually moved to Texas, I want to say 5 months ago, roughly. But I just wanted a big shout out to you, Troy. I miss you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning in, man.
I'm supposed to go to Austin in 2 months. Still haven't decided if I actually want to go through with that or not. The thought of hopping on a plane right now is still kind of concerning. I don't know who Jim Justice is, but it's his fault that you're not in West Virginia?
Governor of West Virginia.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's the dude that drops F-bombs but won't man up to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very good with the quotables.
Yeah. I don't understand why he just wouldn't, he obviously dropped an F-bomb. Just say you're sorry or man up to it and be like, yeah, I dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah, and anybody who could be screen recording for my potential F-bomb, please cancel the screen cap and don't replay it and play it over.
Oh, this will be on YouTube and Facebook permanently afterwards.
I could go Jim Justice viral then.
Yeah. Niko, here's a good question for you. Do you have any ideas on who, when the next beer dinner is? And as an FYI, Niko, I already confirmed with you who we talked about. Confirmed with who we already talked about, and they're 100% on board. So if you want to go ahead and announce that, it is safe.
Okay, so episode 3, it looks like we're going to have the pleasure and opportunity to be working with True Respite. So super excited for that one. It's going to be awesome. Those guys are great. And again, really appreciate Cushwa. Always great working with them. Fantastic folks, very humble and hardworking. And, a big shout out to Ben up at Fourscore. Again, very humble and hardworking. So it's always a pleasure working with. There's so many good people in this industry. It's awesome.
And the best part about having True Respite next month is that everyone will get a can of the new beach drink, which this year is, instead of strawberry lemonade, it is going to be a raspberry lemonade goza. So everyone who participates in the beer dinner will get a can of beer with my smiling face on it.
And I think I'm going to pair that with fish.
Wow. Well, I love fish. I'm fine with that. Beth hates gozas, so she actually, the only reason she even tried that beer is we were at Cugini's and Tyler from Elliot in the Morning was there, and he shamed her into trying it, and she hated it, as we knew she would. But I think that's the perfect beer to pair with dessert.
Yeah, we can make that work.
And Bob is absolutely right. Garrett is an awesome dude. Leo and I were actually talking about that a little bit beforehand, that they're trying to collect all the Garretts out there in Williamsport.
Yeah, so we're looking for a nickname for Garrett. So if anybody has a good one to throw in the live comments, we currently have 2 Garretts and a lot of confusion. So best nickname, I'll pitch it in the morning and see if it sticks.
I'm sorry, I was trying to find another beer. You were supposed to talk about Garrett a little bit longer than that.
We're really excited to have him be here, part of the team. Only met him briefly. Definitely can't wait to work with him. It's going to be a huge asset, especially as we plan on just growing. So definitely seems like it's going to be a great fit, and we just can't wait for him to start here.
So one thing about Garrett, I don't think the man's ever not been happy. I've never met a happier person in my life. That man, like, he is always happy.
That'll definitely be good here.
He is. He's definitely a ray of sunshine. That's for sure.
So you guys definitely knocked it out of the park with that hire.
Yeah, that's a great hire, man. You guys are gonna be very happy with Garrett. He's good people.
Yeah, everything we've heard so far has told us to show pictures of the Garretts.
I'm sorry, I don't have any to queue up for that.
One's bald, one has dreads. Just picture it in your head.
It's funny.
I mean, there probably should be a beer that comes out that just has them on the can.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that.
We can call it the Garretts. They're in like 80s rock attire or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was the wrong one. What were the little berries in the dessert sauce? I also want you to describe how the frosting was made.
Okay, so the berries in the compote were red currants and blackberries. And then as far as the icing, it's called cereal milk icing. So you let, in this case, we let crunch berries sit in a bowl of milk overnight in the refrigerator, and then we strain out the milk, and then actually utilize the milk in the frosting. So it's cereal milk frosting. It's you can do any flavor: golden grams, sugar snaps, peanut butter.
So Beth mockingly said something about was that just cereal left in milk? Making fun. I was like, yeah, that's what it was.
That's exactly what it is.
So I finally found the can I was looking for. An ancient can of beet drink, but it'll be slightly different because in the glass, instead of strawberries, there'll be raspberries floating around.
Nice.
So everyone has that to look forward to. Maybe I'll even come in and autograph all of them, because I know no one will want that.
I'll trade you one for a Tiku.
Okay, done. And there's proof, and you have to do that now.
Do you have an adroit theory, TQ?
Me, yeah.
Ah, damn it.
So actually, when I don't know if did you guys see, and I can't remember the name of the brewery. Although, give me 1 second, I have to close the door to my beer fridge. It's going down south quick. There was that brewery in Pennsylvania. I can't remember the name. It's like Nakatsi Creek, or actually, scratch what I said because it's probably completely wrong. Or is that right? You were shaking your head like I was close.
The name, it's like Nakatsi something. You were on the right path. So I don't speak Pennsylvania to know what it is. But.
What that is? That no, it's not Ninkasi. That's a brewery just on its own, or maybe it doesn't matter. So they came out with that hot dog beer, which is, I can't imagine good. Although I feel like it can't be completely disgusting, or why would they sell it? Well, anyway, so 2 years ago we were interviewing the owner of Adroit Theory, and he had said, "That's it. Bill Russell wins. Nishimi Creek." So no, Bob, you lose. Bill wins. And so they we were interviewing Mark from Adroit Theory, and we were talking about all the crazy things that he puts in beer, and he just offhandedly said that he would put hot dogs in beer if he had to. So obviously my next question was, why the hell would you have to put hot dogs into a beer? But so that obviously, like, the only obvious thing to do with that article was to take a picture of a hot dog in a glass of beer. So Mark had given me a bunch of Adroit Theory glassware to make sure that I had the proper glass to photograph a hot dog inside of beer, which you would not believe how difficult it is to do. But it did make an amazing magazine cover.
Yeah, I remember that cover.
that was a painstakingly made cover. It is not easy to keep hot dogs suspended in beer and get the lighting right and everything. It was a pain in the butt, but we pulled it off. And then what was it? Nishimini Creek beat Adroit Theory to making the beer. And yeah, it's 4 sheets. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. Although, like, the first 2 collabs that Sheets has done were good. They did the coffee IPA, and then they did a blueberry muffin one. I didn't have that, but that was reviewed very, like, as being a really good beer. And then they come out with this hot dog crap.
In our schmuffin.
Yeah. Hey, maybe Cushwa could get on that, or maybe Wawa. You could do it with Wawa and just do whatever Wawa's known for.
I skirt the lines on suggestions. That one might get me yelled at.
So Niko, what is superior, butter-based steak seared in the cast iron or wine reduction sauce?
Ooh.
Probably butter, because butter makes everything better.
Yeah. And it's also always fun to sear anything in a cast iron. It makes the difference in the world. Absolutely.
I think Ted's trolling us. So I made beer can chicken for the first time a couple weeks ago, and I have to say it's one of my favorite things to make and eat now. So maybe that would be good for a beer dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, have them send you an extra can so they can use that beer for the beer chicken and then be able to drink it with the beer chicken.
Yeah.
It's like some sort of chicken beer inception.
We're on multi-level here tonight.
All right, Leo, does Cushwa have anything else coming out that you want to talk about? Or have you covered everything?
I think at this point, we have our weekly releases right now. I talked about those 3, all top-notch beers for us. I mean, one of them is a seltzer, I guess not a beer, but the seltzer has been our most asked about thing locally, so that'll be good to get out to everybody around here. We've even had requests for distribution on that. If anybody had our put-in peanut butter banana stout, we have another one of those lined up that we're excited to get out to you guys. We're constantly just working hard, trying to come up with either new things or figure out what we think hasn't been out in a bit that people should be wanting and stuff. So just keep an eye on us. Next couple of releases are going to hopefully draw a good bit of interest for you all.
Niko, what's your favorite cocktail or beer?
That it's like asking what my favorite song is, and it's
What's your favorite song?
I got a lot. I I don't gravitate. I've never been one to gravitate really to one specific thing. Leo, the shotgun of beer. So,
Leo.
It would be too on brand for me to do that.
I can just do a light unintended consequences.
Yeah, just light 8%.
Nothing bad could happen. Cushwa malt liquor. Cush 45.
We discussed this during a canning line day, and still not sure on, I guess, necessarily legality for that, because it technically doesn't count as beer or anything since there's no hops. I don't know what legality would be behind that. One of our collab partners, Vitamin C, though, they brewed one in Massachusetts as a collab with Charlestown Fermentery. I saw it on draft there, and I thought that was a genius idea, and I wish I had some of it. Kush 45 and 2 Zigzags would be the perfect name for it. So I'll pitch that for the next week and a half until I get told to be quiet. We're actually going to make beer.
I had something I was going to say. I completely lost it. Oh, here's you guys have hoodies, don't you?
We do. We're kind of limited on stock. We'll probably wait until fall. We have been rolling out new merchandise. Like I said, I can't show you the full line of everything, but we've been working hard on creating new merchandise and everything. So once we're open up for tap room public to be able to step inside, you guys will see a lot of cool things that everybody's collaborated on and put a lot of hard work into. Marcus has done an amazing job. Props to Marcus. So we can't wait for you guys to see that, and hopefully you all love it.
Important question, Leo. Pull up or zip up? Pull over or zip up?
I think I'm a pullover guy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm not a zip up guy.
Both you and that idiot Garrett are completely wrong. I'm also still upset that I didn't get credit for that beer name.
Yeah.
He'll Venmo $10 for something.
I think it's a Venmo for shotguns.
Also wrong. Pullovers are stupid. Yes, Jen Smart. All right, so who's all in for $10 for Leo to shotgun a beer?
Has this ever happened on any sort of live thing you've done, Chris?
Me, no. It normally doesn't go this far south. So you could be a first. Go ahead. I know you have a beer close to you somewhere.
I could be first. I am in the tap room and I don't want to clean it up before I have to leave here.
All right, we'll do it another. Actually, we're up to $15. Another 10. It's coming in quick. You could make this worth your while.
Can we get guaranteed donations to, since we're doing for the Black is Beautiful, could we get postage stamps for donations to Maryland ACLU?
Like, now you're making it complicated. We'll save this for another time. I'm gonna come out there and we're gonna live stream.
Yes.
We'll let you do it in the parking lot in the legal within your licensed area, so so that there's
Right now it's kind of incriminating with the Cushwa backdrop.
yeah. All right. I think we're probably at a stopping point, a good point to stop before we talk you into things you don't want to do, and then you're left with a mess before you leave, and you end up disappointing your girlfriend by dropping F-bombs. Yeah, I mean, why stop at a shotgun? We want to see a beer Maui. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Actually, well, Niko, do you have anything that you want to talk about that you have coming up?
Well, we're working with the county for outdoor seating. I'm hoping to have this approved. It's absolutely ridiculous going through the county, but nonetheless, that's what counties do. So hopefully by next week. So keep an eye out social media for that. And we actually do have some other exciting things. We're going to hold back maybe another month or so, but we'll be announcing that as well.
So, John, the next beer dinner will be with True Respite. Which Tuesday will that be, Niko?
Oh, well, when was the can release? That was early July 4th weekend?
Yeah, I think so. Or the following week. So it's definitely available. It'll definitely be available the week after the 4th.
Okay, so it'd probably be that Tuesday after the 4th.
So the 7th, most likely.
Yes.
And you'll get a beautiful can that looks mostly like this.
All right.
Will you shotgun one of these, Leo?
Yes. I'll shotgun the autographed one. That'll be for the donation. I'll shotgun the autographed one.
I'm the fastest shotgunner on the East Coast. I can promise you.
I've never shotgun a beer.
I can take a Keystone Light less than a second.
All right, so Leo, I was going to ask you when we were going to do the parking lot Crispy Boys, but I think now it's decided we will wait till July, and I will bring you a beach drink to shotgun.
Yeah, we could have it as like a lead-in to whatever next thing you want to do. It'll be good.
And maybe we'll bring Niko with you too, and he can put.
We can race.
Yeah. And I will point out a month ago during one of these, I pointed out to Niko, I have had hundreds of beers in Niko's presence, but I've never had a beer with Niko, not even virtually.
True.
See, he just refuses to have a beer with me.
You know I will, brother. I'm sorry. I'm still a little more work to do. Once I get into that first beer, it's day over for me. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a great time. It's nice to officially meet you, Leo, more than just in passing. I look forward to drinking out of a proper Cushwa glass instead of a goblet like an animal. Niko.
And thank everyone for we've had some great interactions tonight. So thank you everyone for participating. You guys are awesome. We love you guys.
Niko, thank you for allowing me to make an amazing dinner tonight, even though my wife refuses to give me any credit for it.
Always, brother. It's always a pleasure.
And thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Cheers.
Cheers to everyone.